group because today's very practical and I want to talk to you. It's your first... No, you were here last week. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about a little term that I call Earth School, which we've introduced along the way. And I think it's a really empowering concept because it allows us to start to shift our mindset when things are going wrong from feeling like we're powerless and a victim to feeling empowered. Because as hard as it is to hear, no matter what happens, and I'm not condoning bad things happening or bad people, but no matter what happens to us, we do have a choice on how we respond. Yeah, and it's hard to hear that because we're in a world where we are almost conditioned to be a victim, like to feel powerless. They don't want us to be empowered because that's dangerous. Now I'm getting into my conspiracy theories, but you know what I mean, yeah? So I'm going to start with reading it because, as I said last week, otherwise I go off into tangents. Okay, so nothing happens to us, it happens for us. We are not victims of circumstance, we are empowered beings who in every moment has the opportunity to choose how we respond and act. Now I often hear, and I am guilty of this as well, I'm not guilt-free of this, I can tell you. I do catch myself on it now. I often hear people say, that person upset me, they hurt me. And as hard as it is to hear, we can only let people affect us. I'm not condoning bad behavior or evil. I'm just saying we do have a choice. So we don't want to believe that. I'm sure we can all think of a situation where someone's done wrong by us and we've wanted to blame them for hurting us or for us feeling bad. The minute we blame external people, we disempower ourselves. It is up to us. Does that make sense? It's hard to hear, isn't it? Does anyone have resistance around that? I know I do with certain people in my life who have been mean to me. No one wants to say anything. No. Can you relate to the blame game?
Yeah, it's how we react to it.
Yes.
That's affecting how we feel.
Exactly, and the reaction is always a choice. Yeah. You will always have an initial reaction, and that might be, like for me, initially often I'll fly off the handle because I'm really passionate about everything that I do, but then I'll step back and I'll reassess and readjust my perception. So even if I feel bad, it's a momentary or even an hour or even a day sometimes, and I go, hang on a minute, I'm not going to let them have the power over me. I am going to choose how I respond to this. Because we can't control external circumstances. We cannot control other people. The one thing that we can control is ourselves. And that's what's empowering. But often when things are falling apart, we fall into the habit of the why me. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, look at this. It's like cross-training / Spartan race under the thing. Yeah. There we go, my lovely.
Thank you.
No worries. We've just read the first paragraph anyway.
Sure.
So does that make sense? Yeah. And like I think I've had people say to me a lot, oh, what about people that have been violently abused? You know, they are a victim. And I'm like, well, what happened to them is not nice, and I'm not condoning what happened to them. However, they have a choice as whether they let that experience empower them to move forward, to help other people, and to change their own life, or they have a choice as to whether they're going to fall back into a cycle and a never-ending sabotaging road of why me. We can't control what happened. We can control whether we use it as a positive or a negative. Yeah?
But it's okay to feel the sadness or feel the
yes.
pain or feel
yes.
that and then let it go.
Yeah.
You've still got to
yeah.
feel it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because if we don't, what will happen is...
Become...
Exactly. And that's when we worked on, that's excellent. So the process is the situation happens, we react. Okay, the first thing I do when I realise that I'm the problem, Byron Katie's great for this. She has a beautiful saying that my partner's problems are my own. And it was like, she does this, I should share it in the Facebook group. Can I just borrow someone's pen for a sec so I can write this down? Because for me, I was really good at blaming Cameron for everything that was wrong with me. When we danced together, we had a very volatile dancing relationship because I was like going through a bit difficult time I had really bad anxiety, and that's not great when you're a performer and when someone else is relying on you to perform. And his way of helping me was to be negative because that's what he learned. He learnt that he had to pick out everything that was wrong, and that's how people got better. But I learnt that people picked out the positives and then they delivered the not so negatives. So I had this person just giving me all these negatives, and I already had an anxiety problem. I was already having panic attacks, and I would just wanted to blame him. When I shifted the mirror and I looked back to myself and thought, well, what can I do to change this? It's not his fault. He's not telling me how to react. I'm choosing how to react. It's not his fault I have anxiety. It's my fault. I'm the only one that can change that. Does that make sense? Yeah, he'll laugh if he listens to this. I used to cry. There wasn't one training session. We trained like 30 hours a week where I was not in the change room throwing myself on the ground crying. Like crazy psycho. And then that would make him angrier because he couldn't help me, and his response to people when he can't help them is to get angry because he's frustrated, and so then I would just get worse. So Byron Katie video, I'll share that for you, but it goes into anyone. My mother's problems are my own. My child's problems are my own. Does that make sense? So people are a reflection. Everyone's a mirror. So they're just reflecting something back in you that only you can change. And when you change your perception and you change your inner dialogue, all of a sudden their behaviour actually changes when they haven't changed anything at all. All that's changed is you. Does that make sense? It's confusing, isn't it? My partner's problems are my own. Whose is this? I forgot. Thank you, Lily. Good catch. Okay, so a good example of this I find, and I would really like to invite you to share some other ones, whether it's personal or a movie, this is a movie example, is that awesome, amazing movie with Roberto Benigni in it, Life is Beautiful. Isn't that, oh, I got goosebumps thinking about it. It's such a good movie. If you get a chance over the weekend, like maybe watch it. It's so good. Oh, have you seen it? Isn't it?
I loved it. Shari hated it.
Oh yeah. So that's cool that you hated it. Just take the context, the lesson out of it. It's basically about a gentleman that was in a Nazi concentration camp in World War II. Was his son?
Yeah, son.
And instead of letting the impending doom of their death, which was almost inevitable, change his whole psychology and him becoming depressed and depraved, he turned it into a wonderful game. And he chose to turn the situation into an empowering experience for his son and to shield his son from what was really going on. But that's a choice. That was a choice that he made. He was faced with probably one of the worst situations of human cruelty that we've seen in history, yet he chose to turn it into something completely different because he came from a place of love. It was love for his son, but still it was also love for himself, ultimately, because it made it more bearable for him. Yeah, I've got goosebumps. It's such a beautiful movie, and he's so cute. He's so Italian, isn't he? I love him. Is it? All Italians talk like they're singing, right? I've not met one Italian that doesn't talk like they're singing a song. All right, so this is an interesting concept which was recently brought to my attention. And nothing in life is personal. It is all symbolic. It's a bit of a head screw, isn't it? What I take from that is that if something happens to you, there's a reason, and it's symbolizing something that you got to work on. So life is only ever a mirror to shine back to within you what work you've still got left to do. So if someone shits you, or if a serious situation irritates you, if there's something that just keeps coming up and up and up, life is holding you a big ass mirror and going, deal with that shit. And until you do, it's going to keep coming up. Time and time and time again.
Is it okay to walk away from it? If we always hold.
Well, what can you go into a little more detail?
Oh, okay. So if something's smacking in your face constantly and it's bringing you down, you bring yourself out of it. Is it okay to walk away from that person?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's a way of dealing with it. That's absolutely. Yes, that's a way of going, this serves me no more.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. And there are like sometimes that mirror is a reflection of saying, well, that person is just toxic and in this lifetime it's never going to work, so I need to walk away. Like, my view of it's all my responsibility is quite extreme, but I feel like I'm ready in whatever phase of my lifetimes that I'm at for that to be okay for me now. But I'm sure that there was times in the past where I just couldn't, I just have to walk away. And sometimes owning it is walking away as well, because they don't serve us, it's not right for me. And that's taking responsibility still, isn't it? It's still your choice. You're still empowering yourself by going, yeah, nah, see you later.
I think if you think of it as if you stay, you then become an enabler.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, and so it's important to walk away, because otherwise you are part of their problem.
Yes, yes. And some people aren't ready to be helped. So in that case, if you are enabling, it is time to walk away. Yeah.
Anybody really go on it? Their problem
Thanks,
is your problem. Your problem is their
I know, right?
and then you really get through it.
Oh my god! My head's starting to actually hurt.
But that's what it is.
And it's so true though, isn't it? It's so true. Like, talking about it all theoretically, like being this person who can be completely non-reactive, like, I don't know whether it's ever possible for any of us in our own lifetimes.
Not as human.
No, even Byron Katie has reactions. I've heard her talk about. She's been married like 5 times. I've heard her talk about her husbands, but she has a way of, she has the reaction, but almost instantaneously she can pull it apart and figure it out and let it go and move on. So being human, we're here to have reactions. We're here to have emotional experiences. We're here to experience a full frontal of every element and spectrum of shit that we possibly can, because that's why we're here. But it's, again, I'm not saying that you need to not do that, but you need to understand how you react to that then is up to you. Experience it, feel it, but then let it go. Yeah? Makes sense?
Yep.
That's when the forgiveness work comes in as well. So if somebody upsets me or pisses me off and I firstly realise it's my fault, the first thing I do is I forgive them. And I forgive myself. I do, I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, thank you. I'm sorry, I forgive you, I love you, thank you. I'll do that. And then I will, as I'm doing that, for me what happens is I bring up the feelings will come. So if I feel like crying or banging stuff or throwing stuff, whatever feeling it is, but I just let the feeling rawly be there without the story. Oh, I feel this way because of blah, blah, blah. I feel this way because they did it. That's not there. I'm just keep saying, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, I'm sorry, and whatever happens, happens, I let it out, and then you feel like complete peace and quiet, and it's gone. Yeah.
I call it a pity party.
Yeah.
I put myself aside an hour, and I go, right,
Good.
we're having a pity party.
That's
And
awesome.
we feel so miserable, and we go, come on, get up. Get up. Go on, you've had the hour.
Yeah, and you processed it, and it's time to move on. Yeah, that's awesome.
Just a little party.
That's awesome, and I think we all kind of... We all find a way to facilitate it on whatever level we're at. All the tools you've been given, you'll find one that resonates with you. They're all in the past videos. The forgiveness one was last week. Yeah. Awesome. That's awesome. Yay. So you'll find something that works for you. All right. Anybody want to tell me an experience of a movie or a book or a person or yourself that you know where you've been able, something really bad or negative has happened, but you've been able to make a choice to move through it? You don't have to share something personal. It can be a movie. I can't think of any other movies right now. Oh, Deadpool. So true. Something really bad happened to him. Have you seen Deadpool?
Oh, cool movie.
That's so cool, right? It's so cool. Okay, you got to see it. Ryan Reynolds is in it. That's like #1 reason why you have to see it. Yeah, absolutely. And he's in Lycra. Anyone else? No? Just trying to think of any movies. Who's triumphed and overcome like adversity? I normally know all of these. Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah.
And I think I wrote to you about this.
Yes.
Yes. In February, I've always gone for the popular girls. You know, the bitches.
Yeah.
Right? Always had this, the bitches. Yeah, too funny, and you know, oh look, I'm wearing these shoes, and you know, going, you know, I've had this and I've had that. And in about February, March, my best friend for 18 years, and we're walking in, and I'm going like, I just don't go home and enjoy because I've got all these toxic things hanging in my head, you know, such and such did this and such did that and, you know, la. And she was starting to, after 18 years, never came near anything nasty about me. I just used to listen to it. But I started, suddenly something came in on my children and I went home and went, why didn't I see this? Why has it taken me 18 years of listening to being bullied by my best friend, you know, because really I couldn't have a friend unless she really liked that person as well. I couldn't have a man in case that, you know, oh, he's not good enough for you. Everything, you know, it just became really clear and I didn't know what I was moving towards and I gave it away and I actually haven't, and I went very lonely and very into fat mode over, but I stayed with it. I thought I'd stay away from it. Fat mode, I'm horrible, I'm a terrible person. But it led me here. So,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
you know,
That's
but yeah,
perfect.
so I don't know why I was doing it, but now all of this sort of stuff
Yeah.
is strengthening us
Wow.
to, and I go like, I don't need to. I don't.
Yeah.
I've got
That's
men.
beautiful.
I've got
And
men.
you literally just done the last part. That's awesome. Yay!
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
If you find something which is toxic, you've got a friend, yeah, really hard. You know, they're part of your life, or a partner, you know, that keeps this not letting you go, because it is hard to sort of go, I'm never going to see you again.
Yeah.
That's really hard, but there's life after it.
And in that case, she was a mirror to show you what you didn't want.
Yeah.
She served as showing you that that's not what I want, that's
Yeah.
not who I am, and I'm releasing that. And then now you've ended up here. But in order to move forward, you needed to let go. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much done what the last question is, by the way.
I am so love this.
Yay, that's so good. Well, we love you.
I was in a really shitty relationship
Yeah.
for 6 years, and this is what's pulled me out of it. Body transformers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
We're 8 weeks,
awesome.
girls, so keep going.
Yeah.
Any little you have in your head,
Just
deal
keep
with it.
going.
Yeah,
That's
keep
so
going.
awesome. That makes me so happy to hear that. That's
That's
the
why I asked
best.
you before, is it okay to walk away?
Yeah, because he was a mirror to show you that you're worthy of more,
Exactly.
and so you moved forward.
Yeah. And
That's
I was always
awesome.
a positive and energetic and athletic person, but I was getting like Chris fatter and crankier and older and shittier and
Yeah,
it wasn't me.
yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
So,
That's
I allowed
empowering.
him to, yeah, I allowed him to
De-empower.
make me-
But you took it back, and that's all that matters. You broke the cycle.
Yeah,
So
but if I hadn't joined your group, I think
would
I'd
still
still be there.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
But you know, everything happens for a reason at the right time, and that's why this came. That's so cool! Yay! So now we're going to talk about questions. So the why me? Who does why me? I've done that a lot. A lot. Why me? Why does this happen to me? Why am I the fat one in the family? Why is my sister the athletic one? Why can't I drink every day and not lose weight? Why me? Okay, so probably the most dangerous 2 words you can ever ask yourself, because what it does is it keeps you trapped in a cycle, because you know that negative Nelly conscious mind, the ego we call it in Eastern tradition, that will bloody give you a gazillion reasons as to why you.
Yeah.
Because those negative beliefs that are in your subconscious mind, they see that as the perfect opportunity to rise up and go, well, because you're shit, or because you're not good enough, or because you're too stupid, because you're not pretty. Like, it will just basically use that to validate why you're stuck in the cycle. So it's not helpful. Move away from that straight away. Okay, so the most powerful thing you can do is ask yourself different questions when encountering stressful and upsetting situations. Tony Robbins, I love Tony, says the quality of our life can be measured by the quality of our questions. If we ask the right questions, we can actually I really need to actually start proofreading, empower ourselves rather than feel like a victim and powerless. Think of a difficult situation you are currently or in the past have experienced, and let's switch up the questions. Ask yourself and see if you can gain some power back to help and learn from, oh God, it's not making any sense at all. Just to help you move forward. So I really need to stop blaming my dyslexia and start reading. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm just trying to think of a thing that makes it work. Okay, marketing, okay? So when we do our marketing in social media online, sometimes it doesn't work. And that's not good because that's a stream of cash flow you need to run your business. So I used to, when I was in a really bad place, I would be like, why me? I work so hard and I study so much and I've put so much money into like people teaching me to market. Why me? Why me? Well, do you think I could see a solution to the problem? Hell no. Somebody could have come and slapped me on the face with the solution, and I was in such a closed-minded, negative mindset. There was no way I was going to see any solution. I was completely and utterly shut down. Then I watched the Tony video a couple of years ago, and it really changed everything for me because I started asking questions that started to allow me to learn from the situations that kept arising so I could move forward from them. So questions are so important. So think of a situation that's either current or past, and I want you to start asking these questions. You can write it down. How can I make the best from this situation? So for me, when things weren't working and we were like spending thousands of dollars and nothing was coming back in, my solution to that was, well, I can use this to really create a sense of urgency in my action. I can up my level of working hours and really put in. Yeah, so there's always a positive spin. It's just how you look at things. And when you start to see things differently, opportunities arise and people appear to help you. But if you're closed, it will never happen. What can I do to help myself learn from this situation? Well, for me, that was to learn actually the ins and outs of Facebook. So I didn't just go, oh, here's $1,000, spend it. There's actually a system and an algorithm to Facebook that needs to be learned. And once I learned that, I was able to make sure that we weren't like losing thousands and thousands of dollars. Yeah, Cameron was kind of mad at me. So what are the lessons from this situation, and how can I respond to cause me less suffering next time it occurs? So the lessons I learned was that I need to be not so flippant, and I need to be more thorough with my study and understanding of topics, and not rely on someone else, not pay someone else to do my marketing, because every time we did that, we lost even more money. So I had to, again, take the responsibility back and realize it was in my control and my power, and I learned it, and I learned the systems. And so then next time it happened, I had a whole toolbox of skills and tools I could use. Whereas if that situation didn't happen, I never would have those. So I always think now, like, this is going bad in my life because there's something I need to learn from this. It's going to make things so much better when I'm through this. That's the first thing I think of when things start to go wrong. This is going wrong for a reason, and I know 100% beyond reasonable doubt when things go shit, they're about to go real good. So I know I just don't know how long for, but I've just got to get through it, learn, stay present, and eventually it just completely turns around. Whereas if I went into the why me, do you think I would actually get through that? No. We wouldn't have a business. You guys wouldn't be sitting here because we would have just given up. Because my subconscious mind would have definitely just told me I was a failure. And as my dad used to tell me every day, you're a gunner. Gonna do this, gonna do that, do nothing. That's what I heard every single day. So my subconscious mind, if I had gone, why me, which I did for a period of time, well, it kept telling me, you're a gunner, you're a failure. That's why. Didn't help me at all. Can you see the difference? So have you written down some situations? Perfect. We're perfect timing. So I just want you to close your eyes for a moment and just think about that situation. Can you hear the computer games? Oh no, it's not. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Street Fighter or something. Lovely. Can you... I'll shut that door. Yeah. So closing down the eyes, and I just want you to bring up that situation in your mind. So just start to see it now and start to see the people involved, picture their faces, their eyes. Picture how they make you feel. Feel that in your stomach, feel it in your body. Start to feel the sense of disempowerment that perhaps you've been flirting with. And then ask yourself this internally in your mind in a really loud and powerful voice. How can I make this situation better? And then answer that for yourself. Then ask yourself, what can I do to learn from this situation and make it into my advantage rather than disadvantage? And how will this situation empower me to be a better version of myself in the future? And then just open your eyes. It's okay if it didn't happen, but did anyone find that they felt a little bit better about the situation? Did you come up with a few solutions? It's okay if you didn't. It's totally okay. It's something, I write it down. I always write it down.
Yeah,
I
I think I missed the last question because I was writing.
Yeah. It was how can I use this situation to empower myself to be a better version of myself in the future? I think I actually put that in the bottom question on the piece of paper.
Oh yeah,
when
got
we
it.
get to the
Okay,
next
yeah,
bit.
got it. Yeah.
So how and what questions are the ways that you can help yourself? Like, yeah, if for you, Abby, you don't have to talk about it, but when you went through your situation where you didn't have the job anymore, it would have been so easy for you to fall into a why me.
Yeah. Interestingly, through that, like after that initial little pity party that I threw, that some of you were party to.
We all attend each other's pity parties.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, like I had a really good kind of 4 or 5 weeks, and then interestingly, this scenario that I was just thinking about then was a conversation I had last night with my partner, who he's working now 6.5 days a week. We used to spend 24 hours a day together, so he now works 6.5 days a week. He leaves home at 4:30 in the morning and he gets home at 7 o'clock at night. So we've gone from spending 24 hours a day together 7 days a week
Yeah.
to me seeing him while he's asleep and for, half of Sunday. And we've had this big conversation around how we can change this and what our battle plan is. And the first thing that's gone through my head is, this is my fault because I didn't keep that stupid job that I didn't want in the first place. Immediately after that, I've gone, hold on a minute, stop. You can't think like that. That's bullshit. And then I've had to pull it all unwind it again. But it was funny because that was the default setting. Like I've been fantastic for weeks and I've got all these other plans, I'm doing all this exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And my life is just so different. And yet it just took one conversation and I'm going...
And that's okay, it's just your programming. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but I say this to myself all the time when the voice starts to happen. Like, I found myself judging someone on Facebook today, not that I know, it was like an ad that came up and it was like fully over-sexualized, and I'm like such a raging feminist that really upset me, and I just felt like, I just started to like criticize the poor girl. Not her fault, she just got paid to be in that advert, and then I went, it's just my programming. It's not personal, it's just my programming. And I just let it go and I moved on. And that's the thing, like those voices that come up, they never stop. That bloody negative, I call it negative Nelly, it comes up, but it's just how we respond. Again, it's a choice. It's just my programming. I'm a human. All the stuff we pick up along the way, all of the karma or the experiences we absorb through hurt and suffering, through what others do to us, from what we do to others, it leaves us with an imprint on our mind, which is going to cause you to have those patterns, but they're not personal. They're just from experiences that aren't even based in reality. They're just based in perception. So just say, it's just my programming. Yeah, let it go and move on, as you did perfectly. How exciting.
And you recognised it, like,
Yeah, I did.
that you were able to recognise it, you know?
5 minutes, and I was really quiet, and Ari thought he'd upset me, and he said to me, I've upset you. What have I said to upset you? I'm like, no, just give me 5. And in my head, I'm doing all this internal dialogue. And then we shot up the road to the shops, and because there's like heaps of people living in our house, so, and we both went to the shops from the car, and I said, look, I'm fine. You didn't upset me. I had this crap, had this, and this going through my head, and he's frowned at me, and I'm like, no, stop, just listen to me. This is what was going through my head. This is then the other conversation that I've had. Quieted it all down. We're all good and happy. It wasn't actually your fault. It was me.
Yeah.
So yes, we've had a conversation, but it wasn't. It was my thoughts about that conversation that upset me and made me say horrible things to me. You did nothing. You're just there. So it's not about you. But being able to have a conversation and the space to be able to think through that's really important too.
Yeah, so important. That's
And
like,
for him to know that he had
it's
an
not
upset
useful.
weekend.
Because then you don't want to trigger him, because then that can set something totally off.
Exactly. Then next time he wants to have a conversation with me about the next battle plan for the next goal and the next thing that we're doing, he's going to go on and on.
Yeah, and that's where miscommunication comes in as well. Like, and when you think of years of that, the momentum that builds up in a relationship of miscommunication and people misunderstanding your intentions and then making their own judgment from their own perception, and then it creating like this weird contorted thing, which is why
something it never was.
exactly right. But it's like it in life. It's what we do all the time to ourselves, thinking of what other people think of us. For example, women notoriously, and I don't know, I think it's because we're conditioned this way, we'll walk into a room, not at our ages, I think when we're younger, and we don't so much see, actually it's not, I don't think it's totally true. I think we're more aligned to see, I'm stereotyping. I'm 100% stereotyping. You guys can question me on this if it's true. I'd like you to actually challenge me on this, because I could be stereotyping. I was going to say, when I was younger, in my late teens, and I started clubbing and going out, I'd go into a room and I wouldn't see a bunch of friends with other women. Oh, new friends. I would be more standoffish and see potential threats to the guy that I like, or the girl. And then guys are different. They'll go into, oh mate, how you going? Let's get a beer. Like, it's a real different, I don't know if you felt that. There's like and I went to an all-girls school, so I'm not sure if this is actually reality or if it's just my perception. But I found it much easier to fit in with guys than girls, because the girls at my school were more ready to criticize than the men. They were more accept the boys. And I don't know if I'm being judgmental. I'm actually questioning whether this is real or whether I'm just making this up. Has anyone else had that experience, or am I making it up?
Girls' school as well.
Yeah.
I felt that way too.
Yeah.
I'd rather be with the guys that were non-judgmental.
Yeah. And they have their faults too. Like, they definitely have their faults, but it's a different level of faults. I don't know. I don't know if I didn't want to be judgmental, but it's really interesting. Now I'm completely off track, so I didn't want to give you the wrong information.
The dogs are trying to say something.
Yeah, they Daisy, they attack each other out of excitement. No, the Staffy attacks. Yeah, oh, that's because someone's riding their bike. That's all. All right, guys. So completely off track. It's a Staffy sound, isn't it? It sounds vicious.
Yeah.
Should lick your face off. You're just super overexcited. Okay, so can you now look back to a situation in your life that at the time was devastating, but now you can clearly see the lesson that Earth School presented for you? You can see the reason, the purpose, and now when something else bad happens, I want you to remember that. I want you to remember, well, I've been down this path before, I've had some pretty traumatic stuff happen to me, but it happened for a reason, and it engaged me to be able to help others. Don't work with children or animals, is that what they say? Okay, I'm gonna yell at them. Hey, come here. Come here. Get up here. Enough. Okay. So I want you to write down these questions. So think of 3 situations and then just use one of them to go into the next questions. What's going on, mate? Come here. What's going on? What's going on? There is people out there, isn't there? Maybe he's just completely lost the plot. He's not all there, old Hercules. There he goes again. Hello. Just going to see what's actually out there. You could be barking at our phones, that's all. Look, there's no one there. Kirk, there's nobody there. How are we going with that? Almost done. I feel like this is probably a super valuable lesson because things are going to go wrong. It's unavoidable. We're human. We live around other humans. There's relationships, there's dynamics, family, friends. Shit's going to hit the fan. But if we can remember there's a purpose behind that, and life never gives us more than we can handle, always gives us something so we can grow with. The people that don't grow are those who wallow in it for more than a set period of time. The wallowing is not bad, we need to facilitate emotions, but whether it's even, it doesn't matter if it's 3 months or a year, but providing you move forward out of that, and the better you get at it, the less time you'll need to process it. Or it might be something big, and that might take longer, and other things might take a shorter period of time. Every time something's gone terribly wrong in my life, it's helped me grow so much more, so I can be better. Like it's almost like a lesson. Every time, every time. I know once it goes wrong, I'm going to get better at something. I'll improve a skill of some sort to move forward. You can do the whole thing at home, or you can do the whole thing now. It's up to you. Just do the 3 things for now, guys. I don't want to upset the apple cart by talking about things like that are spiritual, but I'm going to say it in case somebody is of that mind. Our soul has a higher purpose for us, and I believe that we get given these lessons to move us towards our higher purpose. So my higher purpose was to help and empower people. I wouldn't have been able to do that if my childhood wasn't as annoying as it was. If my dad wasn't a nasty pasty and not a very nice person, I wouldn't have ever been on a path to figure out how to make myself deal with that. If he hadn't have died and I hadn't have been there when he died, I never would have started questioning the reason for life. What's the purpose of life? There's like a follow-on effect. If you can string all the way back to everything that's happened to you, you can start to gauge an idea of what the purpose is. If you want to know what your purpose is, you might just be happy just doing your thing and just living, and that's totally cool as well. But I feel like a life lived without engaging our passion and our mission, for me, is not, I can't do that. I tried, it doesn't work. I just become miserable. Yeah. It's all for us for a reason. Does that make sense? I'll tell you one example, and that if you want to share an example from your own life or someone you know, you can. When we first started the business, we used to, much against my inner voice and my inner intuition, we would use really sexualized images, like girls in bikinis. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It was just what the rest of the market was doing. And one of my mentors said, you gotta give them what they want and give them what they need, or some shit like that. I don't know what it was, but basically, she was saying you need to use those images. You're in the health and fitness industry. If you don't use those images, you know, on the Gold Coast of those girls in bikinis, you know, that look like they're 15, or a Victoria's Secrets model, you won't succeed. And we did that, and it was like flogging a dead horse for ages and ages and ages. Like, no one would come in, and the people that came in, like, no judgment on them, they were not the same vibe as us. So it just didn't work. Everybody was unhappy. And then eventually I started gaining confidence to use images that weren't what people would call we should. Now I use one image of a girl who's quite fit and strong, but she's fully clothed, or she's got a crop top and shorts on, and she's in a strong, empowered position. And then the others I use are quite curvy, or I use normal people. And the minute I moved away from using those images that didn't sit right in my heart, we started to take off, and people started to come that resonated with our message. So I should have listened to my own intuition in the first place, but it's because my calling wasn't that. My calling was this.
The only reason I looked at your site.
Hey, isn't that funny?
Because of that,
Yeah.
that woman on there.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder what that is.
And Facebook, there are so many that come with that sort of stuff. That's the
Yeah.
same reason, because I looked at that and went, wow, they're real women. Not
Yeah.
that
You're not
like
intimidating.
all body shapers are real women,
Yeah.
but I'm like, yeah, trying to
That's
get
what made
this
me-
to that, that's not reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas it was reality, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, good, they're fit, they're healthy,
Yeah.
they're happy,
Yeah.
you know, and that was what drew me to it.
That's so
straight away.
cool. That's awesome. And isn't the sorry. Yeah. And the funny thing is that we're all of the same mind. Isn't that interesting? I'll just let them.
No.
Sorry, I She believes.
All right.
Hate. Is it natural for myself? Because I was trying to think of something.
It's okay. That's all right. It's okay. You might. It's just planting a seed. It's planting a seed. So can you think back to a time in your life where you were sad?
Sad, but not very, very sad.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's
So I
really
know.
good.
Listen, actually, I keep those papers with me,
Yeah.
and when the time comes, I
Yeah.
can use them.
Yeah, and maybe something's coming in the future. Maybe there'll be a challenge.
Prepare me.
Yeah. So, any time in your life did you find something particularly challenging?
Maybe it's buried.
Yeah,
Maybe.
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 Or maybe
Yeah.
it was just, like very easy and
Yeah.
already.
No. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the Philippines,
Yeah.
and then I moved here 25 years ago.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's awesome. Did you see that as a good opportunity when you moved here? Were you excited?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. You must miss your family.
No, most of them are here in America, so yeah. 13 siblings.
Wow.
13. So there's 14 of you.
No, 14, but the baby died, so it's 13 of us.
13 on that. Okay. Okay, and how about yourself?
I grew up in the Philippines.
Okay. Okay.
The latest one I can remember is like breaking up with my friend.
Mhm.
We were best friends when we were in uni. That was like 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And then she moved here from the US. But she's a different person
Okay.
already.
Okay.
Because we did not see each other for like 17 years.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we kept
And that was
contact.
stressful.
That was very
Yeah. So that's something that you can use this
Yeah.
with. Yeah.
But it was like good breaking up with her.
Yeah. Yeah. The same.
Yeah.
Same. Exactly the
Yeah.
same
You
situation.
think, okay, so no, but where do I now find a friend? I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
You go, okay, so kids are gone. I live alone.
Yeah.
Like, you know, yeah, this is going to be great. But it's so worth it.
So worth it.
So
But it hurts
it
a lot.
hurts.
It's
A lot.
different from
Yeah.
losing a partner or a husband.
Yeah.
I think I did not lose my husband yet.
Yeah.
So
Yet.
my boyfriend, but it's different.
Yeah.
Friendship is
Yeah, friendship.
but that you value so much.
Yeah.
Can I go for coffee?
That's awesome. I love that. That's so cool. So, can everyone think of a situation where something happened to them that helped them put them on the right path? Yeah? You're welcome to share. You don't have to share. There's no pressure.
25 years ago, I used to be a assistant manager at Sizzler,
Yeah.
and the manager of the Sizzler at the time was doing rude things to one of the salad bar girls, and I had a bit of an issue with it, so I put a complaint into head office, and after that he was out to get me, and it took him 18 months to get me fired for lack of motivation. I just built a house with my sister, so we had a massive
Yeah.
debt. It was when interest rates were about 19%
Whoa.
there. Yeah. So I had my pity party. It was a long one in those days.
Yeah.
And I answered an ad in a newspaper in Brisbane, and I thought, fuck it, I'll go. And I didn't actually know what the job was, but they paid for everything, so I thought, well, that's great, because that'll help with the house. And we travelled the country. Well, I like travelling, that's great. So off I went, and you got 2 days to pack. Okay, bye everyone, bye. And it was actually knocking doors, selling encyclopedias.
Wow.
Which I was shit at for about, I remember my boss saying to me, how long have we got until you get this? And I'm like, as long as it takes. As a result of that, I ended up being one of the best that the company ever had. We then moved to Time Life. I met my husband. We learned some amazing skills, sales skills. We trained people. Do you know? But if I hadn't have got fired, we've travelled the world because of it. Do you know? We've
Been
got
to Tony
amazing
Robbins.
children. Been to Tony a few times. You know, Bob Bays, all that. And without me being fired, none of it would have happened.
Yeah.
And my family would ring up. I actually blocked all calls because, you know, when are you coming home? They call me Bullet. It's faster than a speeding bullet. So it's all bully or bullet. Bullet, when are you coming home? Why don't you come back? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? And I'm like, oh. And then years later, you know, they're going, oh, you're so lucky. There's no luck gone into this, baby.
You worked
it was
your ass
freaking
off.
hard work. But, you know, it's a good example for your kids. Now I've got 2 beautiful girls. One of them's travelling. Well, she's at uni in Edinburgh. She's 19. And the little one's off to high school. And they're just such positive little great kids. And I think if I didn't go through that shit, they wouldn't do, you know.
What a story.
yeah,
That's
it's really
awesome.
cool.
That's so
So I'm
inspiring.
so grateful for him actually shagging the salad bar girl.
Yeah. I wonder what they're doing now.
He got fired for embezzlement 2
Oh!
years later. And she ended up, the husband left her and, you know, whatever else. And years later, I met her and she said, look, I'm so sorry. And I said, you know what, you did me a favour. It was awesome because without that, you know, I'd still be wherever, I don't know.
Yeah, how fascinating. That's awesome. There's a book in that. Definitely a book. Anyone else like to share anything
I
that's...
love it when people say, oh, you're so lucky.
Oh.
That's their way of, I'm so jealous that you worked your ass off and got to where you are.
Yeah.
And so I'm just
There's
going
no luck involved.
Yeah.
No.
I read a quote that says it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. It's so true. It's so true. At least, 10, 15 years of working every day. Yeah. More, please share more. I would like to hear more.
In July, my blood pressure shoot up to 175 on 95. I was at work and then I have to call my husband to bring me to ED.
Yeah.
And that was really like, oh no, I still want to live. I want to see my grandkids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I joined this group.
Yay.
It was
Yeah.
a wake up call. Otherwise, I'd be sleeping until 12, go to work at 2:30,
Yeah.
go home at 11, sleep
Yeah.
between 4 and 5, get up at 12.
And you're feeling better now.
I'm feeling better. I checked out with my doctor 2 days ago, and it was 129 on 86.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Oh, wicked. That's scary. That's very high.
That day.
Yeah, that's ridiculously high. So I'll make sure because we have 6 minutes because they've got to do scans, so I have to be on time. Does anyone want to share, or maybe just write it down, what lessons you've learnt from a situation in your life, how Earth School was trying to help you prepare for your in later life die? We got yours. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? And how have these situations helped you become a better version of you? If they haven't, and you feel like you're in the shit right now, write what you would like to learn from it. Look at a way out. Yeah, look at how it can improve you. I think it's wonderful that you've never been fully sad, like really sad. That's so cool.
Yeah, I think maybe I just like what you said, I forgot about it already, but
Yeah.
I don't think
It's okay. It will come up.
yeah.
Then send me. I want to know. Email me.
Yeah.
I really.
Maybe when we
Yeah. Yeah. I will. Yeah.
well, when my brother and sister died in the same year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be
but
sad.
yeah, that was really really sad. But yeah, and then knowing that we know, or I believe that where they're going to
Yeah.
is a better life.
Place.
Yeah,
So
a
it
better
helps
place.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and gives me comfort.
Yeah.
And just like what she said, having a pity party and
Yeah.
like have that sadness, and then after that, move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. That's
Oh,
good.
the pity party. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it's
Really
good.
used
That's
Yeah.
really good. It makes a big difference.
I say to my kids, you know, happy pity party. Get on with it.
Just
Then move on.
move
Go
on.
away.
Yeah.
Nelly, Mum, Nelly.
Yeah.
Hurry up. It's nearly dinner time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good. They're so lucky to have you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's an important skill for their age to have because it's quite instant.
19-year-old, she's moved away from uni and she rented a house with a girl and
Yeah.
for the Edinburgh Festival,
Yeah.
so she bought all these tickets so she could party and all this. Last minute the girl said, you've got to move out on the 22nd of August and September's the festivals because I've got to move my mum in. She said, you know, and so she starts out, why didn't I just do what Emma did, you know, go through this? Why does it always happen to me? And you know, and she was having a really big pity party, and then she said, oh, and I'm fat, you know, like, not just not fat, but really, really fat, you know, and because I've been eating shit food, and by the way, I did an online tarot card reading, and they told me that I'm going to lose all my money and have a shit time, and so my response was, well, you know, I run my life by tarot cards, so that's awesome. Saw you 2 weeks ago, and unless you've been eating elephants for between now and then, you're not actually that fat, you know. In fact, you're not fat at all. And as far as accommodation, I said, we can sort it. So, you know, we haven't even used any resources. We've got family that lives there. So sure enough, she goes, sorry, Mum, I was just having a big party.